Thank you for tuning in to another episode of WGC Fits. Today we are going to be discussing what, Captain Ballspeed?
The differences of center of gravity on an iron.
Now, do you have any idea what to expect with higher and lower kind of center of gravities?
The commonplace is that lower center of gravity will spin less and go higher.
Mm-hmm.
Higher center of gravity will spin more, go lower.
That's pretty much spot on. I'd say that's correct, right? So let's test it. What are we testing it with? We have,
We have an I-59 in the Ping, which is known to have one of the highest center of gravities ever.
This is not a super easy club to hit.
No.
Nor is it a very forgiving club.
Not
because the center of gravity is quite high on this, right?
Yeah.
It's definitely not for the guy who isn't going to be aggressive, let's say.
Yes.
And then we're comparing it to
My iron.
the T150,
Yes.
which has a little bit of a lower center of gravity.
Much lower.
Now, we understand lofts are slightly different and everything, but
Only by a degree.
this is really kind of speaking to the results that we have here, the difference between the centers of gravity, right? So we'll start off with the Ping. Key numbers to kind of look at here are going to be essentially landing angle, peak height, and spin rate, okay? Now, with the center of gravity being higher, right, think more of muscle back type club, what you're going to get is spin that is higher, more workability, and a lower, flatter trajectory.
Yeah, which is what a lot of old school players like to play.
Exactly. I mean, that's the old school muscle back type club, right? And that is effectively what you got here, right? We're at 8,000 spin,
which is
113 peak height,
which is good,
and then 51-degree landing angle,
which is even
not too bad there, right? It's high, but again, not as high as it could be with you, right? When we compare that to the T150, we see here your peak height jumps up to 123, your launch goes up by just a hair, your landing angle is actually relatively similar,
which is great.
But your spin drops quite a bit, right? Now, that is what I would expect from a club that's got some tungsten and everything lowering that center of gravity to really allow you to have a little bit more play in terms of strike.
Yes,
but
which
then
I need.
Two, for you, actually get the ball up in the air, especially with your longer clubs, which we know is a good thing.
Yes.
Now,
especially with my angle of attack.
Well, exactly, right? A whole new window with that. But let's talk about the benefits potentially of each side of these, because one's not wrong and one's not right? Just differences.
If you have a low spin player, you almost want to do something.
Exactly, a higher center of gravity and all that. That will help you just produce a little bit of a more
consistent ball,
let's say consistent ball flight.
Without going crazy in the spin category.
Correct.
Yeah.
For example, I used to be a pretty low spin guy with my irons, which is why I played these, and it worked out pretty well, right? But improvement, right? Well, change, I should say. These started to spin a ton for me.
Yeah.
After, so I had to switch it up a little bit.
I mean, I remember playing with you and hitting your clubs with an 8-iron, and it spun back 10, 12 feet.
Oh yeah. There was a time where I was playing with my brother, and I spun a 6-iron off a 200-yard par 3.
There you go.
Hit it in the back. It's a lot. Not good. So you expect that, but that can be a benefit and more or less a tool in the tool belt for a specific type of player, right?
Correct.
For you, needing a little bit
less
higher, a little bit less spin, right? Something like that comes into play and works out quite well because your consistent delivery asks for the club to kind of look more like this, which is going to do just that for you. Let it get up in the air, let it have a little bit of a less spin, and let you kind of really attack different shots from that kind of perspective.
But I can still hold greens with the less spin with that landing angle.
Correct, because our landing angle is still good. And that's the important part to note here as well. Landing angle doesn't change, right? Launch angle changes a hair, but primarily spin and height, right? And that's exactly what I would expect to see out of these two things.
But with spin and height, you get more carry.
More carry, but again, don't necessarily think about it in terms of that. More or less, for you, it's more carry. If someone was the opposite of you and needed more spin, this one would probably offer more carry, right? Because there's such a thing as too
and more height.
Yeah. Because again, it depends on what the dynamics of the delivery are. So, not to say one's better than the other, just depends on the player and the dynamic delivery. So, if this is something that you are interested in, you should come in, get a fitting, and we can work on it with you. Kind of figure out if you're a higher kind of center of gravity or lower center of gravity guy in relationship to club face. If you want to just hit some clubs, we got plenty. You can do a little testing on your own there as well. And if you have any questions, let us know down in the comment section. Please like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.